Hi, this is Kim Nicholson from kimnick.com, and this is Rediscovering Wellness. So today I'm going to talk to you about the truth behind diets, any diet. So before you sign up for that weight loss solution, let me expose some of the secrets that companies just don't want you to know. Currently, this is shocking, currently more than 1 in 3 Americans over the age of 20 are considered obese. And that's up from 1 in 4 20 years ago. And nearly 70% of Americans are overweight. And of course, millions of others are currently carrying extra weight that they really want to lose. So let me clarify. Today, I'm going to be talking about weight issues when excess weight becomes a health issue. I'm not talking about vanity issues trying to get into that bikini. I'm talking about when it's more serious and it's affecting health issues. And I'm talking about health issues such as high blood pressure, high cholesterol, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, stroke, gallbladder disease, osteoarthritis, sleep apnea is affected, and other breathing problems. Certain types of cancers can be affected with weight issues. And of course, things such as minor, such as just body pains and difficulty with just basic physical functioning. So rule number 1, or exposed secret number 1, is to do some fact checking. For many of us, our extra weight is a source of income for most of these companies. They bank on us gaining weight. So what I'd like you to do is, and to get that cash, some of these companies are willing to stretch the truth of what their products really do. For example, there was a soda company who was sponsoring nutrition research. Doesn't make too much sense to me, and it doesn't sound very credible to me. And then, of course, there was an oil conglomerate who was help funding a climate research. Again, know where the studies are coming from, who are funding these studies and research. Another twist of these research findings, especially for the diet loss studies, a lot of these diet studies will last only for the first 3 to 6 months. Now, remember, I don't know if you're a lot like me, but when I do diet, almost everybody loses weight in the first 3 to 6 months. But what happens after that? What happens in year number 2 or year number 3? Are they able to keep it off? So who is funding these drug or diet research? And remember, studies are almost always funded by these companies who are selling the drug or the diet that's in question. Secret number 2, dieting makes you fat. Basically what I was just talking about. While the point of dieting obviously is to lose weight, how often, like I mentioned, like myself, you lose weight only to gain that weight back and probably more. So, and that's very frustrating. So people typically lose between 5 to 10% of their starting weight in the first 6 months. But between 1/3 and 2/3 end up regaining more weight within the next year or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. And believe me, I have studied over 100 dietary theories. And I will tell you, they all work in the beginning. So when people come to me and they ask me, what's the best diet to go on? My answer to them is always the same. Don't look at the initial process of how to decrease your caloric intake, because you're going to learn in just a second. You can lose you can lose weight in almost any diet that you take on. But the truth to the answer is, what diet are you going to be able to live with? Because it's not a temporary fix. It's a permanent health style change that you need to make. Here's a funny story for you. It's called Twinkies and Doritos diet. And I want to get this professor's name. I know he was from Kansas State University, and he was like the professor of human nutrition. I believe it was Dr. Haub, H-A-U-B. But it's really a fascinating story, and it just basically solidifies what I'm telling you. So when we talk about diets, most people think about, oh gosh, I got to eat carrot sticks and celery sticks and, work out 24/7. Well, it's not true. Anyway, so what this professor proved was he put himself on what he called a convenience store diet. And this diet, I swear to God, this is true. You can look at it. This diet consisted of him buying his food at a convenience store, and it consisted of Doritos, Twinkies, Oreos, and like other sugary cereal products or snacks. And now here's the twist. This is what he did. He limited this caloric intake to approximately 1,800 calories. Now, I believe, I'm not quite sure of his age, but a man approximately his age in his category usually consumes about 2,600 calories per day. So obviously there's a calorie reduction there. Now, here's the findings. He lost 27 pounds doing this. Eating Doritos, Oreos, sugary cereal. This is amazing to me. Now, of course, and the other thing is that's amazing, it blows my mind, is it lowered his cholesterol. But I do have to say that he did state that he was taking vitamins and other mineral supplements during this time. But what this shows you is that basically, even though it wasn't nutritionally advantageous, and I wouldn't recommend this diet to anybody, but it does show you that the calories consumed make a big difference in weight loss. And a study published in the New England Journal of Medicine also took its participants and divided them into several groups, or 4 groups. And in each one of these groups, they put on a specific diet with the same amount of calories, but there was a difference in balancing the fat, protein, and carbs within each one of these groups. And because there was a calorie restriction, it doesn't matter what the balance was, whether it's fat, whether it's protein, or whether it's carbohydrates, they all lost weight. Why? Because it was a calorie restriction. Now, please, I'm not recommending that you rush out and start reducing your calories. I always recommend that you contact your primary care physician and get professional advice before you do it. But remember, the secret, one of the big secrets in reducing your weight is, of course, calorie restriction. So let's tackle this problem. So one of the solutions is, I will first ask my clients is, why do you eat? Ask yourself that several times during the week. Are you eating just to fill your belly? Or are you eating because it's nutritionally advantageous for your body? Or is it a combination of both? There are times I know, and I'm just as guilty as anybody else, that sometimes I eat just because I want to fill my belly because I'm starving and I just want to eat. Thankfully, most of the time, I plan my meals and I plan my calorie consumption because I do want to live longer and more healthfully. So to lose weight, what I'd like you to do is to think about the calories you consume and the calories you burn. So one of the solutions of reducing weight, obviously, is to reduce the number of calories you take in and increase the number that you burn. Now, what I mean by the number that you burn, obviously, this would be physical activity. And I have a lot more written about this on kimnick.com, and I will be doing other videos and podcasts related to this topic because it's such a hot topic. But it comes down to simple math. Reduce the number of calories you consume and increase the number that you burn. That's how simple it is. But there are other things to take into consideration. Obviously, it would be your age. Are you a male or female? Your physical activity level makes a big difference. What is your current weight and what is your current height? So once you determine your BMR, your weight loss goals, you can start tracking your calories. And there's several ways to track your calories. You can track them on your phone. There's so many applications that you could put on your phone that will help you keep track of them. There are obviously things on your computer that you can also keep track of. I like the basic, simple, again, if you watched my podcast last week, you know I'm a big fan of journals. And I love to keep track when I'm in a diet phase. I mean, I pretty much now I'm in a maintenance phase. I'm just a lifestyle phase, but it's great to keep track. It's basically an accountability partner for you. But you've got to write down everything that you eat and everything that you drink. And it does make a difference when you go to look at it at the end of the week to see exactly what you've consumed. So, and there are calorie trackers online too, that you can put in and if you just simply look calorie calculator on the website, you actually on my website will have one, but you can also Google it yourself, and you can put in your age, your sex, your physical activity level, your weight, and your height, and it will recommend what your daily calorie consumption should be. Now, for me and my family, for years, even before it became a thing, we pretty much eat on the Mediterranean diet, and that is our lifestyle. It's not, I mean, obviously people talk about it today out there and they say it's the new diet. It's not. It's been around for hundreds of years. And to me, it's the best way to consume any type of food, is to eat basically more plants. So we're talking about whole grains, we're talking about vegetables, and we're talking about fruits. That should be the main consumption of your diet. And then, of course, a lean protein if you want. I mean, there are a lot of people who live extremely healthfully on a pure vegetarian or a vegan diet. So that's awesome if you can, if your body allows you to do that. So it's basically what it comes down to. It's not a change in our diet that we need. It's our change in our lifestyle. And when people get that, there will be no need for diets any longer. So I'd like to end today with a quote from Dr. Mark Hyman, who I read everything that he writes. And I came across this quote the other day while I was thinking about this podcast. And his quote was, it's time we realize that food is a form of health care. And I think once we get that, we will all be in alignment with a more healthy lifestyle. Well, that's it for today. So until next time, see ya. You can check more articles out on kimnick.com. Thank you so much.